Hey travel creators, you're listening to the only podcast made for you on how to trade your content time for travel time. I'm Laura and I am a content developer for travel creators, and that means I help you write a badass newsletter in a space of the internet you actually own. And I'm a content repurposing specialist for my friends in the travel creator space. Now, today we're talking about community, and that is a word that is thrown around a lot in the online space, especially in the creator space, but what does it actually mean? And we'll get all into that today. But first, I want to start with a little reminder. Don't forget about the people you already have in your community who are already in your corner. It's so easy to just want more and more and more followings, more bigger, badder community. But don't forget about the people who are already there cheering you on, because they honestly are more, if not almost more important than the people who you are going out to try and capture. It is so much easier to retain your current community than it is to try and build a bigger and badder one, which is totally possible, and we'll get into that today. But don't forget about the people who are already there rooting for you. Okay, so what is a community? Essentially, this online community you're trying to build, that you've been working on building forever, but maybe don't even really know what it is the same type of community in your daily life. So think of all the cozy community neighborhood vibes. That's the same, just online. It's the people you can ask questions to without shame. You can learn from these people and you can lean on these people. And another important note about your community is that it doesn't have to be big either. There's such a, I don't know if it's a misconception on the internet that the more of a following you have, the bigger your income will be. I have found that to not necessarily always be true. I know plenty of creators who have small followings and they make a lot of money. So never let that kind of stop you from continuing to create. But that is just a testament to the community they already have. Sure, they might have a small following, but what the heck? Maybe their community is so engaged, it doesn't even matter. And that's kind of the place we want you to be, is if you have a big community, awesome. How many of those people are actually engaged? So now we're working towards a place where your community loves you and they can help you achieve your dreams. So your community is going to be made up of a bunch of different people, but all of those people come to you for basically the same core reason. So ideally, everybody should have the same goal in your community. And part of this goal of why people should come to you can be pulled from your brand, which is the foundation of everything you do in your creator journey, and something I will not shut up about. I won't, because I don't think people understand how important it is. It's also something you can explore and learn how to do in my episode with Andrea, who is a branding queen. We talk about what the heck branding is and why it is so essential for travel creators. So let's dive into how to learn more about this community you've already built or are trying to build before you create any more content for them. The first thing you can do is ask. This is asking, seriously, is the best skill I've ever learned how to do, and I'm still learning more about it. It's scary. It's scary to ask people, but as Michael Scott once quoted, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. It's so cliche. But the more that I ask creators or shoot my shot with them in this space, it becomes less scary. Because the worst thing they're going to say is no. And once you realize you can get up and live your life and you're fine because someone said no to you, then you can ask anybody anything, really. Now, I'm not asking you to ask your community to spill all of their state secrets, but you can do market research with them. This means if you're wanting to come out with a new offering or service for travel creators, or if you're just trying to create better content, I would be totally honest and transparent with people in your community and ask them questions about what they like to see. I've done it before, and I've slid into people's DMs of creators I admire and say, I have nothing to sell you. I am just trying to learn more about your pain points and what would be helpful to you so I can create services for them. And that's what I did. And if you are so explicit and say, I'm just trying to learn more to help you or to share more in this creator space, what kind of content do you like to see? What kind of content do you hate to see? I think asking that other opposite question of what bothers you in this space on the internet so that I can avoid it or figure out a way to talk about this topic that doesn't make you feel like that. Another thing you can do to learn more about the community you are building or trying to build more of is to find creators in your travel niche who are similar to you. And by travel niche, I mean they're not out here just trying to inspire people to travel, because that's essentially what almost every creator is trying to do. But they are also a luxury traveler. They are also a budget traveler, sharing tips on how to budget travel. Whoever those people are, whatever your niche is, go find them and see what they're doing. And we do not steal content. This is not what, don't hear what I'm not saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you should go and look at what they're doing to figure out, what can I do better than them? Also, what are they doing that is bad? What are they doing that I can see from a critical perspective, or someone who just consumes content on the internet, that is not a great post? And how can I make it better? That is the type of mindset you should go with when you're looking at people in your niche that you admire. I talked about this in one of my early episodes, and it was referencing a book by Austin Keelan called Steal Like an Artist. And the message is really that a lot of good content ideas have already been shared, and there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. You just don't have to do it. And by looking at people in your niche who are doing awesome stuff, you can figure out from there, how can I do it better? Or what perspective can I give to this that is just as good, if not a little bit better, but in my own expertise? While you're out in the world doing market research, keep in mind, you're not the only one trying to grow a community, and that is pretty awesome. So once you start engaging with people in your niche, the reality is they're going to look at your profile, and if it's optimized correctly, they'll say like, oh, here's so-and-so, and they also talk about budget travel. I'm going to go to their account and comment on their stuff. And that will get the ball rolling of people just coming to you to comment and engage. You can also see, what are people asking? What questions are people asking about my content niche, either in the comments of creators I admire or just in Google search? And you can use those answers to create more pieces of content. And maybe someone in your travel niche has already answered the question, but yet again, you feel like you might have a better answer, or you have a different perspective on it. Google is a great place to go. Stalking creators is a great place to go to figure out how you can answer these questions in an even better way. It also helps you get a frame of reference of, what do people want to learn? What do people have questions about in my space? Now, let's talk about one of the best ways to build a community, and that is to make yourself a magnet. So for example, everybody has their thing, and you probably know what your thing is not. Okay, so for example, my thing is creating resources and providing services for travel creators who are so overwhelmed and need to grow other parts of their business that content can't be the number one thing they are focusing on anymore. My thing is not anything to do with spreadsheets or numbers. It's very obvious. And so your task is to figure out what your thing is, and you probably have already a good understanding of what that might be. But don't think too hard about it, because that can be really overwhelming, because then you might get into imposter syndrome of, what am I even good at anymore? No, once you hit that point, you've gone too far. You've gone too far. Back up a couple layers and just think more broadly. What do I like doing, and what feels easy to me that is challenging to other people? Once you find that answer, that can help inform the type of content you are creating and can help inform the type of audience you're going to draw in. You can also think about the creators in this space, who you follow. Why do you follow them? Like, really think critically. Why do I follow them? Is it because I think that they have beautiful content, or is it because they're providing me a piece of their expertise that I don't have? You can also think about, what does it feel like to be part of somebody else's community online? Like, when you go open your Instagram app, Instagram is showing you the people who you most often engage with at the top, specifically in stories. So what does it feel like to be a part of their community? What kind of feelings do you have? And how can those feelings that you're getting from other people, how can you emulate those or kind of like shift those for your own community? How do you want to make people feel when they see your content and comment on your stuff? One thing about community online that I think is so often overlooked is that we often think about Building an online community is you to your followers. But really, to build a really strong one, it's you, your followers, and each other, meaning your followers have each other's backs. And that is exactly what I do in my Wildfire Travel Creator Co-working space. So it happens about once a week. Right now, we're doing once a week per month, where you come to this virtual space to get shit done, meet other travel creators, ask questions, and network with them. So we are creating a community where you can ask questions, lean on people, and get answers without judgment. It is a space for creators to talk to each other. So I'm creating this space where I genuinely want to connect with these people who are on the other side of my screen. And the people who are showing up to our co-working genuinely want to connect with the other people who are there, so that we are creating just a strong culture and community of people in a specific niche, which is travel content creators. Okay, so if you don't want to host webinars like I'm doing, not really webinars, or you don't want to host meetings, how can you still create a community, one, in a place of the internet you actually own, and that doesn't feel like such a huge, hard lift? There's a couple of things you can do that, and I am going to talk about how you can do that on Instagram, and I understand that that is not necessarily a place on the internet you own, but I think the advice is still valuable. My biggest and best recommendation for travel creators is to create a newsletter, because people can respond there, and you can also highlight or feature a fellow creator in the newsletter, and then your newsletter subscribers can see their account and go and follow them. And that is also exactly what happens in my newsletter, the Content Compass, which comes out every Tuesday. I highlight a travel creator who is crushing their content and show you how and why they're doing it, so that you can apply what they've done to your own content. That is, I'm getting really good at saying all of that. But what I notice happens is when I feature creators, I can see in the click-through rate that some of my subscribers are going to the creators I feature's accounts, and they are probably interacting there. So it is just kind of like a no-brainer to get your community talking to each other. Now let's pivot to how you can create a community on Instagram through the content that you share. Not necessarily only does this apply to Instagram, it's just the platform I'm most knowledgeable about. So you can do this in comments. That seems pretty like self-explanatory, right? Like you can go find creators in your niche and comment on their stuff. You can also create pieces of content that explicitly say, my goal is to create a community. Tag your favorite whatever creator in your niche, or ask me a question, that type of things. Being as explicit as possible to help you grow your community is going to help you grow a little bit faster. Just remember that your community is already there for a reason. People have come to you for a reason. So lean in and learn from each other. You can also ask, hey, ex-travel creator, how did you grow your content? What worked for you? And that's kind of what I embody on my page, is I want people to feel free to share their strategies, because we value collaboration over competition. I think a lot of travel creators think that when they're going out into the world to try and grow, they are so content focused, content first, creating so much content first, when really I think you should be community growing first. You need to start growing your community no matter what part of your content creator journey you're on. It's not something you start doing once you make it to 10,000 whatever subscribers, followers, dollars, doesn't matter. The only reason you're going to get there is because of your community, and it's something you need to focus on from day one. So in the spirit of community, I challenge you to go to a travel creator's page this week, do it today, it'll take 30 seconds, and comment something genuine on their page. Even make it a question, and they'll probably respond. And then take it from there. Maybe it's 10 minutes every day of engaging with people in your audience, and see how that grows. And also, I challenge you to drop a question for me on one of my latest Instagram posts at Travel Content Writing. So I hope that you get out there, engage with your community, stop creating, and start engaging. Okay, travel creators, happy creating. I'll see you next week.